Hello all, welcome to NoMam YouTube channel. In this video, we will be providing a basic demo of Azure Database for MySQL servers. This cloud-based database service makes it easy to manage and work with MySQL databases by providing robust security and performance features. Join us as we show you how to get started with Azure Database for MySQL servers. As usual, to get started, we need to log into our Azure portal. I have already logged into Azure portal. Here, I'll search for MySQL. Here, I'll select this Azure Database for MySQL servers. I'll click on Create Azure Database for MySQL server. Here, we'll be getting two options. I'll select the first one, Flexible Servers. I will click on Create. So this is the page where we need to configure all the DB details. First, we need to select the subscription. If you have multiple subscriptions, you can select them from by this drop down. So I have only one, so I'm getting the default. Next, you need to select the resource group. If you have resource group, you can select. If you don't have one, you need to create by using create new button. I have already one resource group called NoMam. I'm using that. Here you need to provide the server name, which is a database server name. I will say NoMam db1. It will check the availability of that name. Okay, it is available. So region by default it is East US for my account. For your account it will be different. You can select whatever the region you want. Next comes the MySQL version. There will be two options, 5.7 and 8.0. Whichever one you want, you can select it. I'm going with the default option 5.7. Here, workload type. So there are multiple options here. If you are using it for smaller medium size database, you can select this, and if you are a tier 1 business, then you can select this. As it is a testing and demo purpose, I'll go for the default one. So next comes the compute and storage option. So here if you want, you can select multiple options here by clicking on configure server. What it will do, so the three types which it is showing, so burstable, which is the default one, and general purpose and business critical. So if you go to different tiers, the course will be varying. So with the burstable instance tier, so you have 1 to 20 V course, and whereas general purpose 2 to 64, and it will give you the better performance. So if you want, you can increase the storage size. By default it is 20 GB, which is minimum, and you can all go to 32, 64, or how much ever you want, you can do it. And also you can configure IOPS, like input output per second. So I'm not changing any of the options which they are provided here. I'll go with the default one. Okay. So yeah, so I'm changing. Okay, here. Okay, here I'll select burstable. So it is showing on an estimated total 1155 per month. That is fine. So if you want to have high availability, using multiple ZRS, GRS thing, you can select this enable high availability. As it is a pure demo, I don't want high availability, and also the retention period of the backups, everything you can configure here. So I'm going with the default options. I'll click on save. Now, so if I go down here, it is asking for admin username. So I need to provide the DB admin name and the particular password. So I'll say SQL admin, and I'll configure password as well. I need to confirm the password. Password is matching. I'll click on review and create. So all the configuration looking fine. What I'll do, I'll just say create. If you see here, we are getting one alert, configure IP address in the firewall rules. Why? Because once the DB is created, you need to access it from the outside. So what I'll do, I'll go and return to add firewall rules. Here you'll get multiple options. If you want, you can allow each and every IPv4 address by selecting this option, or if you just select this current client IP address which from the machine which I am interacting to Azure. So I'll select this one. So this is my public IP. So that is fine. I'll click on review and create. So as the validation is passed, it is giving create option. We initialize the deployment. It may take up to 3 to 5 minutes for creating this deployment of the MySQL server. I'll pause here. I'll resume when the deployment is completed. If you see, now our deployment is completed. We can click on go to resource to verify what it is created. It created a database with the server name and admin login name with the details which we have provided. Now we have created database server. We need to connect to that server, right, to access and to perform some actions. There are multiple ways to connect with MySQL databases from your local machine. I am using HeidiSQL, which is one of the excellent and widely used open source tool to deal with the SQL databases. If you are not aware of how to use HeidiSQL, I have already made a video on our channel and I'll give the link in this video description. Go ahead and try it out. Once you set up that HeidiSQL, you can continue to follow the demo along with us. For now, I'll open my HeidiSQL which is already installed. Here, once you install HeidiSQL, you'll get an interface like this. What I'll do, I'll click on new option. Here, I'll provide a name for my database which is DB1. I need to provide the host name of the database, so which I'll get here. The server name and host name are same. I'll copy the server name. I'll paste it as in this box. Next, I need to provide username which is SQL admin, which you can also observe here, and also password which we have configured. By default, MySQL run on port 3306. If you have configured in some other port, you can use that port. So I have already used the default configuration, so it is running on 3306. One more important thing to remember, whenever you are using cloud based database, SSL authentication is mandatory. So what I'll do, I'll click on use SSL. Again, I'll come back to settings. I'll click on open. It is taking a moment to load and then to establish connection. It is asking me to save modifications. Yes. If you see here, the DB is created already. So what I'll do, I'll try to create in this particular DB server. I'll try to create one more database and then I'll create one more table, and we'll see by adding couple of records. So we'll start by creating the DB. So how can I do that? I'll click on the server name and then right click, create new and database. So we'll give database name YouTube. Okay. If you see, the YouTube database is created. I'll click on this and I'll create one more table by right clicking, create new and then table. So here I'll provide the table name subscribers. For this I need some columns, right, to provide the data. I'll create columns from here. The column includes ID, which is data type as integer. I'll create another column as name, which is of type varchar, basically text entry. So that's it. I'll click on save. If you see, the create table query is executing here. You no need to write queries for the simple CRUD operations by using HeidiSQL. That's why most of the demos I'll be using this. If you see, the subscriber table is created. Okay, that is fine. Now we need to add some data into it, right? So I'll click on data on the right top. We see the table is empty, which is not looking good. What I'll do, I'll add couple of entries by clicking on plus icon here. ID should be 1 and the name of the subscriber Anand. Similarly, if you see down, the insert query is already getting created and it is posting it here. Next, I'll add one more subscriber whose name is whose ID is 2 and whose name is Bala. Similarly, I'll add one more subscriber to my channel which is having ID 3 and the name is Chandra. So that is fine. So if you just want to select see all the data is created, so you can go to this query on top right. You need to use the database YouTube and then you need to select star from table subscribers. So what I'll do, I'll click on execute on top. If we see, we got all the IDs and name of the subscribers. So this is the flexibility of using HeidiSQL. And to summarize, Azure Database for MySQL servers provide you simple and reliable way to manage your all MySQL workloads on the cloud. As it is on the cloud, it will come up with robust security and performance, all security related features. You can focus on building your own applications without worrying about database management and all the security related stuff. That is where that is very much useful. If you have any questions or comments about this or any of our previous video, please leave them in our comment section. Don't forget to like, share and subscribe to our channel for more informative videos like this. Thank you for watching. We'll see you next.